and welcome to our platform, EXA FMS, which means Extreme Analytic Freight Management System, version 6.0. And the system is a web-based. The system has a lot of modules in it, which basically is the covering freight and logistics. We have CRM, we have forwarding, we have CFS and ICD in within the system. We have fleet, we have HRM, we have warehousing, we have clearing, and we have consolidation. We have two types of shipping, the consolidation part and the main shipping part. The main shipping part, you can see we have completely, when you log in, you get it's a different module. Let's say this is the EXA shipping, the one that is covering shipping. We have done it a bit separate. When you log in, you will see we have the master data, which covers all that details. We have the CRM, which covers all that details. We have shipping, which covers booking, vessel, EDI, all uploads and all that, delivery orders. Under all those options, we have many items: customer service, inbound, we have the vessel, we have the EDI, we have the documentation, we have delivery orders, we have container tracking and logistics, that is. We have the reports, and then at the same time we have the financial part, which also is integrated within the shipping. This is EXA shipping. It's a bit different. This is for the shipping lines. Now, going back to our main demo, which is on EXA FMS, the other one is EXA SMS. So that is the one which is purely for shipping. Now, in this module, we'll be able to cover all this that is within this area. So now let me log in, which is everybody will be given a username and password based on the access level. We have different types of access levels within the system. So mine is a super admin. I will log in with mine. So once I log in, I'll be taken to the dashboard. And then on the top, we have the navigations, which has master. Under the master, we register the users, we do the company setup, we do the customer master, and then under vendors, we have the agents, we have the shipping line, we have transporters for the fleet, suppliers, and transporter for other modules. And then we have the CRM, which covers the tariff, we have opportunities, inquiries, sales, and offers. And then we have the operations now, which has all the modules in it, including the forwarding, which has shipments and cargo management, consolidation, which has documentation, charges, and release. We have the clearing, which has cargo input, shipping, declaration, allocation, and then the port operation. It can be port or ICD or CFS operations. And then we have the empty control, which is empty tracking of the container back to the depot. And then we have the status control now for the updates of the customers. We also have the fleet management within the system, a fully fledged fleet management system, which has the trip management, spare management, together with fuel management. We have the yard management. We have payments. This can be done into two. We have the mileages, petty cash, and all that. And then we have the road expenses. So these are allocation of expenses when the trucks have already loaded. And then the tracking of the movement of the cargo and the truck itself until the destination, and also until the empty is returned to the depot. And then we have the charges. So we also have the warehousing part, which is the WMS. Warehouse, we have the inbound, we have the storage management. Under storage management, we have a number of items there, including the batch control and all that. And then we have the outbound, and then payment and charges. So on our finance, we have the exchange rates. Any customer that picks the operation module has an advantage of the CRM and finance integrated in it. So basically, we have the exchange rates, which is also the currency, and then the asset management, which is the fixed assets, and then the chart of accounts there. We have the banking. Under banking, you can create a new bank, you can make deposits, you can enter the charges, you can write checks, you can transfer funds. And then on we have done it in a simple way that any accountant can use our system. So we have divided the receivables and payables. Under the receivables, we have the customer master integrated within the accounting area. And then now we start with doing the pro formas and the invoicing. After that, we do the credit notes and discounts, and then we do the receiving of payments. Then on payables, we have the suppliers, we have the post of bills, and then payment of those bills, requisitions, and then the approval. Basically, requisition is the revolving petty cash. And then on the general ledger, we have the journal entries, the ledger inquiry, trial balance, and year-end closing. Then another advantage you have is you will get also an HRM. So CRM, finance, and HRM is an advantage in all the modules you pick, whichever the module you decide to pick. So under HRM, we have the employees, we have the adjustments, we have the leave management, we have payroll generation, we have performance and appraisal, we have the biometric integration, and then you have the internal memos, and then the HRM reports. So reports is separated into three. We have the business reports, which has the forwarding reports, consolidation reports, clearing reports, fleet operation reports, and warehousing reports. So on the financial side, those are the reports available. All of them that is required under financials, that is receivables report, payables, statement of account, profit and loss, aging, customer review, trial balance, VAT, cost and revenue, balance sheet, cash flow, and reconciliation. Then on the performance, we have the support ticket, user activity, and system help. So here you can get some videos on how to maneuver or to navigate through our systems. So now on the master, we do setup of the registration and all that. After that, we can directly come, marketers can update their opportunities. This is an area where marketers can update their opportunities. And then also, this is an area where marketers can generate their quotations. They can just do a new inquiry and then pick the new inquiry. Let's say this one, and then they can be able to generate quotation, and you can see quotation, how the quotation comes out, very well aligned and very well styled. Then this can be approved automatic by going to sales and offers. It can be approved automatic, and then they can generate a file number directly for the operations. So on the forwarding side, we have the shipment side where you can also click create shipments. We also have the consolidation side where you can get all the other items that you want. You can be able to do a release. You can be able to get a manifest. You can be able to get an arrival notice. You can be able to get a delivery order and all that. You can see a copy of the delivery order. And then under the clearance, you can do a cargo input of the cargo by opening the file, and then at the same time you can do entry of the cargo of the containers. It can be chassis number or containers, and then you can also do an upload if you wish so. And then you can also, all other department picks it up until the allocation is done, where you can now allocate specific containers to trucks. And then you can also do tracking and empty control, where you can track the empty until it is back to the depot, and then you put in the interchange number. So status of the customers, this is done by updating the status, and then basically you can be able to get this customer status. This can be shared through many formats. It can be a CSV, it can be an Excel, it can be a PDF, depending on your client needs. And then after that, we also have fleet management, where you can open the trips, you can generate trips, you can get profit and loss per trip. You can pick a specific trip or truck and get the profit and loss. Let's say, for example, I pick trip 1342. Let's say I pick 1342, so trip 1342 is there. I can search and I can get my details for the trip, the revenue, and then the balance, and then if I made a profit or loss out of that. Then after that, we have the spare management. Under spare management, you can raise the LPO. You can raise LPOs here. That is for the orders, and generate the LPO, share it with your suppliers. Then after the items have come, you can deliver them into the stock. And then you can also get the LPO reports. You can get the purchases reports and all that. So then we have the yard management report, where you can also control your fuel. We also have payments, where you can do all your payments, that is petty cash and mileage, and then also where you can manage your road expenses directly from the same system. So under the road expenses, you pick a trip and then you just allocate it an expense. So that's how it is, and then you can get a service sheet out of it. You can generate a job card and or a service sheet. So a number of items are within that part on the fleet, and then we have the warehousing, where you can also be able to do an inbound of the line cargo, and then you can also update your cargo, and you can get all the inbound reports, you can get outbound reports, you can get status reports, you can get a summary for your shipments within the warehouse. So you can also raise the charges as well, which we are going there. Now, on the finance, we can do the exchange rates, which you can set up the currency. We can do the asset management. You can do the chart of accounts and set them up very nicely. And then banking, you can make deposits as you wish to directly from to a bank. You can make deposits directly. You don't need to use an option for the invoice. We have two options: through the invoice which you have generated, and direct deposit through just direct deposit of bank to bank. Now, you can also enter the charges so that you control your bank charges. You can also do a fund transfer. We have two types of bank transfer. We have bank to bank transfer, and we have bank to account transfer, which is also factored into the system. On the receivables, we can generate the pro forma. So we can pick a specific generated pro forma, and then you can add the charge. You can select a specific file that you want to generate the charges, and then just add them, put up the charges, and you can be able to raise your pro forma directly through there. And you can convert the charges to a final invoice and then share with your customers as well. And then we also have other options like messages and all that, summaries for the generated quotation under that shipment, so that you guide the accountant or your finance team. Then we have now the credit notes. You can also raise the credit notes. For example, I can pick this invoice. I can raise a credit note and share it with your customer so that maybe to deduct whatever was done on the invoice. And then after that, you can do receive of the payments for a specific customer. Let's say AIM Global. So, and then let me just go to the receiving list. So these are items, invoices that I've raised for the AIM Global, and then you can also be able to just update and put the amount received. Select which bank you want to do the deposit, and then is it a payment withholding or it's a write-off. You have option to put all the details for the receiving of the payments, and you can generate your receipt down there. So after that, we have the payables, which is basically posting of the bills. So posting of the bills, you have to generate the bill, go to that bill, put in the item bills. You can also pick up, if you are a transporter, you can pick up a specific truck so that you don't have to select each item one by one. And then you can save them, and then that one becomes a bill. So after that, you can go and just do a pay bill. So you can select either the supplier, the reference, bill memo, file number. Remember, every item that is inserted in the system, we have an option to select a file so that you connect that item, be it a receivable or a payable. So we also have those options there. So let's say, for example, it's Total Kenya. It will show me all the bills for Total Kenya. I can view the bills and it will show me this is paid, this is not paid. The ones are paid with turning red. I can open it and see the instructions. So I can click and view the instructions for that payment. And I can also just pay this one that has not been paid. When I select, I'm able to put in the paid amount. So I'm able to select from which bank, and then date for the payment and all that. Is it a bill? Is it approved? Is it a cash? And from which bank I'm paying this amount. So within that, we are able to also, the one more thing before I forget is the petty cash. We have two types of petty cash: the straight petty cash and the revolving petty cash, and then management approval down there. Then we have the ledgers and all that, and the trial balance. So in this, we are able to produce many reports. I'm going to those reports. So before that, let's work on the HRM a little bit. So under HRM, we have the employees, where you can register your employees and get the employee reports. You can also do an adjustment of the allowance and deductions. You can do a leave management. Every employee can apply for a leave, and then they can be able to see their calendars on how many days they have applied for, how many days they have not applied for. And then after that, we can generate the payroll. Here on generation of the payroll, we have done automatic fixed of the pay period, pay and NHIF updates, structurally calculated deduction from the government. So here you're able to get the pay slips and the payroll. So on the pay slips, this can be generated and automatically sent through the emails to specific employees. And then on the payroll, this payroll, it's coming that way. And then after that, you can post the payroll to the accounting now so that they deducts to the accounting part. So after that, we can connect to any of your hardware biometric system in the office, and then we can also do an internal memo directly from the system. So under reports, we have the business reports, which has the forwarding, consolidation, clearing, many reports there. For example, let me just go to one of the clearing reports. We have this customer care, we have the shipping report, we have the declaration report, allocation report, operation report, container control, awaiting vessel, and the general CFS report, which shows cargo awaiting vessel and operations and all that. Then we have many more under the business area. So you can see customer care, shipping, all those reports are there, awaiting vessel under clearance, loaded out, ETA, and all that. And then we have also the financial reports, which has the receivable report, payable reports. Let's just pick one by one. Under the receivable reports, there it is. You can be able to do your search, export to CSV, and get all the information. Payables is the same statement of account. You can pull out a specific statement of account, share it with your customer. You can also pull out a detailed one, so it shows all the information one by one. So maybe there is a dispute or something. You can also pick up a specific account. For example, on the clearing side, we have, let's say, something like container deposit. So you can pick those details, let's say account of container deposit, and you can generate, and you can be able to see all the shipping lines, parties, and all that, the information. Then we have profit and loss. Under profit and loss, we have profit and loss per file. We have detailed profit and loss and all those grand profit and loss, which now picks up all the administration costs per specific month. Let's say July. I can be able to generate the month of July for the year. So it will give me all the files I've worked on and their profits, and then I can go to the full summary, pick up sale by file, payables, I can pick up cash transaction, my payroll, any other admin expenses, and then I'll be able to get my summary down there. So, and then we have the aging reports, like there we have aging reports. These are for the invoices and bills. And then we have the customer overview report. We have a very important report here called trial balance. This is the one that is very crucial on your side. The trial balance should match. So, and then it will show you the sales income and all that. And then we also have VAT tax, cost revenue, balance sheet, so many reports for you for the accounting side. So this is a very comprehensive system. I hope that you'll invite us for a demo to come and really give you the experience of having this system with you, the value. So basically, I have just demonstrated very quickly, and maybe I've been able to give you a glimpse of our system. It's a very nice system, and we hope that we are able to elevate or basically improve your company or automate your company. Thank you very much.